Welcome back here on WCTV for our second episode of the Senior Spotlight interviews for the 2023 senior class. Today, I'm joined by Madelyn Verhoff. Madelyn, you are obviously a senior from Bellevue, Ohio, an electronic media and journalism major. So Bellevue, not too close to Waynesburg, like you said before, 3.5 hour drive. So how did you first hear about Waynesburg, and what ultimately led you to kind of deciding to come here?
So I received a lot of letters my junior and senior year for recruitment letters for cross country, mainly cross country, a little bit from track, but cross country was really what led me here. Ultimately, I ended up touring here. Waynesburg was one of the only schools that I ended up touring for some reason. I wasn't too interested in college at the time, but I'm glad I made the 3.5 hour trip to come visit. And when I did, I fell in love with the team and the small campus. It seemed like a very tight-knit community, which is exactly what I was looking for. I went to a small high school. My town isn't very big, so choosing the small school was ultimately the best decision for me.
Obviously, as a student athlete, talk about the experience being able to be on a team sport at the college level. It's not something that too many people do, like athletically or just in college.
No, that's correct. So collegiate training is a lot more intense than I ever thought it would have been. I've been running for 10, 12 years around there. I started in middle school. Cross country was, I think, 11 years I ran for and competed. I no longer run anymore because of physical health, which is too bad, but I'm always in the gym anyway, so I'm really not too sad about it. But being an athlete in college it's really hard. For some people, they really struggle to find the balance between school, social life, and then your sport. I've been doing that for, like I said, maybe 8 years now, so I really know how to balance the two. I also did band in high school, so I had an extra thing to throw in there, so not having that gives me a little bit more free time to do my homework and get to the gym nowadays, so it's just really about finding the balance.
Now moving on to the educational side of things, what led you to want to join the field of communications?
So when I came to Waynesburg, I was ultimately undecided for almost a year, and then I declared marine biology. Waynesburg, that was like another reason that led me here. You don't really find a landlocked school and they have marine biology, so that was interesting. Very shortly, I was involved in marine biology club and obviously the major in the department until chemistry kind of took me out and decided that it just wasn't the right path for me, which is okay. You quickly learn that some things just aren't meant to be, and then you rack your brain. You're like, what can I do next? And I'm like, oh, much like Haley, she likes underwater videography. And I thought that's what I wanted to do. So I got my scuba certification and I took a couple of classes online to get the certification done. And then I'm like, I don't want to travel that much because that job involves a lot of traveling. So I'm like, all right, what's next? I like to, be behind the camera or be in front of the camera. And I'm like, okay, well, communication, that's a pretty versatile degree. So I figured that even if I don't go into reporting or into anchoring, I can always use it for anything else really in that department.
Yeah, and you got heavily involved doing stuff for the newscast as well. Just talk about the experience in being able to be a part of the clubs here on the fourth floor.
Yeah, so I didn't have that much involvement when I first declared my major because I didn't really know anything. When I was roommates with Gwen, she's obviously up here all the time. So she brought me up here and I got a whole tour and I'm like, oh my gosh, TV studio, radio studio, there's so much to do, the Mac Lab. And then I started joining WCTV and hosting my own radio show, which I haven't done in some time, but that's just what happens when you're a senior. You get a little busy. So it was really fun being on Newscast and what was the other one? I was on The Buzz. That was really fun.
And the switch ultimately led you to a great experience last summer. Talk about your internship with Fox News 23.
Yeah, Fox 23, that was a wild ride. I was in Oklahoma for about 2 months. Where do I even begin with that? It was so much. Being, I think, like waist deep in TV news is something that I think everyone in our department needs to get their foot in the door at least. It really opens your eyes to what the world is really like outside of college in the TV realm. It's a constant like go, 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 find the next story, talk to the next person, make the package, edit it as fast as you can. It can be really overwhelming for some people. And I think ultimately that led me down the road of like deciding if I still want to do that or not. I also got to see a little bit of the radio side whilst I was there that I didn't really talk about. It's a lot more relaxing. I really liked it when I was sitting in and listening to what they were talking about. But if you really are interested in anchoring or reporting or being a photog, I definitely think that an internship with a even smaller station would be really beneficial.
Yeah, so you kind of touched how kind of further strengthened you wanting to go into this field. Was there anything else that you did down there that maybe you want to kind of maybe sample or try out after college?
I think I'd like to try radio a little bit more. I think I've had my whole body through the door on the TV side. I'd really like to try radio. I've been involved with WANB, our local station here, for 2 years, just pushing a couple buttons on Friday nights, nothing too substantial. But I like the calmness behind it. You're in control. You can actually control what goes on, unless the power goes out and then you can't do anything. But I would like to try radio, either being a talk host or a producer. They make a good amount of money for what they do, like surprisingly, sometimes even more than reporters. So if anyone's like looking more of like a money beneficial, more money in some type of way, maybe go towards a producer in radio.
So with graduation here on the doorstep, pretty much a month away, what is kind of life after college looking like for you?
Well, I'm getting married in October, so I have to save up a lot of money for that. I'll be working 2 jobs at home back in Bellevue. And then I have to move to Indiana, I think in August. So I will be looking for jobs around that area. Again, not exactly sure about what I'll be looking for. So the door is pretty much open, and opportunity is huge for me. So, as long as I just keep my options open and look and work 2 jobs on the side, then I'll figure it out.
So what has been your fondest memory of Waynesburg, whether it's been up here on the floor or just in general?
I'd say a lot of the memories that I remember the most are probably running or being somewhere around the team, practicing, or just doing dumb things when we're not practicing and we're hanging out together. I'd say my biggest, if I had like a prize to walk away with from Waynesburg, it'd be like the people that I've met. And I feel like that's probably something everyone else hears when you ask, oh, what's your favorite memory? You're like, the people. So the people is something that I definitely will miss when I'm gone.
Do you have anybody specifically you kind of that took you under your wing or has helped you along here at Waynesburg?
Honestly, no. One of the counselors here, Mary Amelia, helped me find my way when I was a freshman and sophomore, when I was still in the undecided phase. She kind of like swept me off, like, all right, like, here we go. Do this, and you'll get to this point. And I did. And then eventually I was on my own. And I can't forget about Melinda. She helped me a lot too. She narrowed down a lot of things when it came to the television realm.
Well, Madelyn, we appreciate you joining us today for the Senior Spotlight interview. You can catch all the interviews on the WCTV YouTube page, so stay tuned for more content.
This has been a production of Waynesburg Community Television.